Welcome to Family Homesteading of West Texas. We are a homesteading family of 9. We grow, cook, and preserve most of our food from scratch. Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I make our chicken broth that we use in many different ways when we cook. So first I start off to add some water, salt, and apple cider vinegar to a pot along with the chicken bones. And I would usually do this before I go to bed, and then leave it on the counter overnight, just with the lid on the counter. That way it can start extracting all the minerals and collagen from the bones. And these were bones that we had recently butchered chickens. I just put them in the freezer, and then when I'm ready to use them, I pull them out. In the morning, I would put it on the stove, put it on high till I have a nice boil. I would give it a nice stir as good as I can. I have a lot of bones in my pot, so I can't stir it very well just now, but I'm doing my best. And then when it hits the boil point, I just put the heat on low, medium to low, and let it simmer for 72 hours. Sometimes I would add like onion peels or some roasted chicken in between. I decided to do this time, I would put onions in there, and I also put in there some roasted chicken. That just gives it a more roasty flavor. After 72 hours, I take out all the bones. I run it through a strainer afterwards to catch all the little pieces that have come off the bones while cooking. This is a big pot of chicken broth, so it's going to be a lot of jars that I'll be needing. My jars that I'm using are new, so I'm going to give them a quick rinse in soapy water and then in some vinegar water to sanitize them. And now I'm ready to fill up the jars. I like to use a funnel. It's a lot less mess that I'm making when I'm using a funnel. And it's also important to leave an inch of head space since I'll be canning these in a pressure canner. And there it is, we're all done. It's quite a few jars of bone broth, but we do use it quite a lot too. And then putting all the lids on, and the lids don't need to be super tight, just finger tight, that's enough. I don't like to run my pressure canner on my stove in the kitchen, so I'm doing that in the garage. And I'm using filtered water, and the reason I'm using filtered water because in the past when I didn't, my jars looked very white when they came out of the pressure canner. I'm just trying to prevent that. And then I'm ready to light the fire, but this time I was having issues with the burner, so I had to use a torch to light the fire under the pot, but eventually I got it to work. And then I'm just adjusting the flame so it's a nice flame but not too big. And then I can start adding the jars to the pot. And I like to make sure that I have the pressure canner all the way full. If I don't have enough, I would always put a jar of just water in there to make sure that I have all the spaces filled up so that the jars can't fall over while it's cooking. And the pressure canner I'm using works with 2 stacks if I'm using the half-quart jars, but I had to adjust the bottom one so that the top rack would fit nicely and snug over them so that they would be flat for the next stack that I'm putting on. After they're all in there, I'm putting the lid on there. And then I'm waiting till I see and hear the air coming out, and then I would put my timer on for 10 minutes. After the 10 minutes, I would put my 10-pound weight on the pot. And then I'm just waiting for the pressure to come up so that I can see and hear the pressure is there, that it's a constant pressure. And then I put my timer on for 30 minutes since I'm having half-quart jars. That's the time we use for our area. So after 30 minutes, I just turn the heat off and I let it cool down till it's cool enough so I can handle the jars by hand. I would just take them out and put them on a table that I have close by and then leave them there till the next day. And then after a day or so, I would put them up in my cupboard where I will store them. Alright, I hope you have enjoyed it. See you next time.